In Star Trek, the original series, there was an episode called Devil in the Dark. And what happened was there was a mining colony, and they opened a new level, and then people started dying. And they didn't know what was going on at first. Then they realized there was a monster that was attacking them and killing their people. So, of course, they called in James Kirk and the crew of the Enterprise to help them out. So, Kirk and company went down into the lower levels, and they were looking for this creature, and their intent was to kill it. You know, Spock was arguing, no, let's study a little bit before we do that. Kirk said, no, we're not going to do that. Finally, Kirk comes face to face with the creature, and he realizes that this creature, animal, is not acting like an animal. It's wounded, but it's not acting like a normal animal would do. So he pauses for a moment and says, okay, let's think about this for a little bit. And suddenly the animal gets up on a rock, and into the rock it makes a message. It says, no kill I. Kirk's wondering, what does this mean? Does it mean that that it's not going to kill me, or that it doesn't want to be killed? He doesn't know. Finally, he gets Spock to talk to this creature, a mind meld, far out, but okay, and realizes that this creature is a mother. And that mother is a mother of its race. Every 50,000 years, the race dies out except for one, Horta, that's the name of the creature. And it's the mother to a new generation. And instead of killing it, Kirk calls down Dr. McCoy, and they heal it. And they go about their business. Everybody's happy because they realize it's an intelligent creature and doesn't want to harm anybody. But its babies were being killed by the miners, and nobody realized it. So Kirk took the time to say, no, we're not going to do that. Now this creature looked like a pancake, a rock pancake. It was about yay tall, very big, about this big, and just shuffled along the floor. It couldn't talk or anything like that. So that was nifty. Okay, in the next generation of Star Trek, there was another episode. It was called Home Soil. And what happened was these crystal creatures declared war on the Enterprise because the people on the planet were trying to take away its home. But nobody realized it because nobody could hear them. Once Picard realized what was happening, he stopped the war, and he let them go about their business, and everybody else on the planet left except for the creatures because it was their planet. Okay? In the Star Trek episode, in the Star Trek series Voyager, the chief medical officer of the ship was a hologram. Okay? He was a doctor, and he was a hologram. On Star Trek The Next Generation, there was a character called Data. He was an android. On The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, there was a character called Worf. He was a Klingon. Now, the Klingons in Kirk's time were their enemies, kind of like, but they weren't at war, except for one episode. Don't worry about that. And but they were kind of, the relationship was kind of like North Korea and America right now. They don't like each other, but they're not actually fighting. Okay? Now, those are all Star Trek characters. If you don't care for Star Trek, think about the character of Chewbacca in Star Wars. Okay? He was Han Solo's shipmate, always getting along with everybody, no problem. So what did these characters all have in common? They were non-human creatures that were treated with respect, kindness, and compassion. And so it's curious to wonder why human beings don't treat other human beings like themselves with respect, kindness, and compassion. Because we can, All we got to do is open our hearts and our minds to do that. Now, I could tell you about the Buddhist teachings on the self-centered universe that thinks itself first and acts as if everything in the universe revolves around it. And that we use the wrong views based on this as how we act to other people. But as Buddhists, we already know this, okay? And even if we're not Buddhists, then we're usually taught when we're growing up, when we're little kids, to be kind to others. But That's the problem. When we start seeing people as others, other than myself, then we can start to put them in really bad categories, and we can start to use that to do really horrible things to them. So my question is this: when did it become normal to be cruel? All you gotta do is look at the news. ISIS beheaded a journalist just to get attention. School shootings, torture in prisons, children being taken away from their parents. We now live in the technological age, and before this, it was the Industrial Revolution. I had to stop and think about that for a little bit. During the Industrial Revolution, it led to a lot of mass killings, right? Was it because of the Industrial Revolution itself? No, it wasn't. If you think about the Industrial Revolution, what happened after it? World War I, the invention of airplanes, the invention of tanks, and the invention of the machine gun, which made horrible destruction during World War I. And World War II, that was the most horrific example of humans forgetting the simple, but so necessary, basic common courtesy of respect, kindness, and compassion. But the Industrial Revolution and technological age did not give us any new reasons to kill others. They just gave us better ways to kill them. But it still took a human mind to pull the trigger. Okay? Now, if you think this is a pitch for the NRA, it is not. The best way to avoid violence is to work with our minds and find the natural peace and joy that's inside all of us. Until everyone is comfortable doing that, no weapons is the best policy. And after everyone gets rid of coveting and malice and ignorance, weapons won't be needed or wanted. Now, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are meeting in Singapore to discuss not threatening the world with nuclear weapons. A very good thing. They both need to remember that the person sitting across from them is a sentient being, deserving of respect, kindness, and compassion. And we also need to remember that those two also need respect, kindness, and compassion, especially in our minds. Because that's where the next revolution is going to take place, in our minds and in our hearts. It has to. So it doesn't matter whether you live in the 21st century, the 21st century, 24th century, or a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. What matters is how you treat the sentient being standing, flying, crawling, slithering in front of you. If you treat them with respect, kindness, and compassion, your mind will be much happier, and your life will be much calmer. But don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. By the time it gets here, it's today.